Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Energize Live. This is where we make magic in the mornings. And listen, you are not seeing things. I am actually wearing something red today, so you are in the right place. You're not dreaming. I am actually wearing something red today. Before I make my Energize, though, I want to take a quick little jaunt through the house. I want to show you this gorgeousness that's happening outside. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then we're gonna come back and make some Energize, because listen, I cannot be up for very long without my Energize. But it is gorgeous. Can you see? Look at this. Look at the fog. And then over here, I don't know, it's kind of, then over here is the sunrise. It just came up a little bit ago. That's kind of behind the clouds, but look at this gorgeous. Isn't that gorgeous? So kind of spooky and ethereal, and I just think it's so beautiful. I don't think we're supposed to get rain today, so I'm not sure what's happening over here with these clouds, but look. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I think it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's about 64 degrees. So I'm not sure why we have so much fog, but it's been foggy the last couple mornings, which I think is just beautiful. Also, I'll show you my tree. Look, there's my tree. Yay. And then we've got outside, we've got the palm trees lit up. So I just love that fog in the morning. I think it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So there's that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know what? First of all, I do owe you an apology because I've not been consistent with my morning times. Some days were like 6:15, some days were 6:30, some days were 6:45, some days were later after we work out. And so I owe you an apology because I just have not been consistent. I think it's funny a little bit because maybe that only bothers me. It bothers me that I'm not serving you with consistent times, because I watch other people go live and they literally just like randomly go live, and I'm like, wow, how does anyone know to join you? I don't understand. How does anyone know when the party's happening if you haven't told them what time to be there? Maybe those other people are just like celebrities or whatever, and people just show up. But I feel like I'm not serving you well if I'm not communicating the time. So my question, my dilemma is, I do enjoy getting my workout in first. I do enjoy that very much. It makes me feel very accomplished, and I like to then bring that positive energy to you. However, the longer I wait, which might be more convenient for more people to be on live, the longer I wait, then I don't have the house to myself. So when I go live right now, and we have our conversations right now, like everybody's still asleep. So we can have all kinds of conversations. We can get really passionate and heated and energetic and all the things, and big guy in there is still in bed. But if I wait later till after my workout, and then we've got to be out in the garage and people are up and people are leaf blowing and dogs are barking, and so I like the early morning because I like it's just you and me. Like, these are the real ones, right? That are getting up, we're getting after it. Even if you're listening to it on the replay, you're engaged, you're connected, and we're up in this quiet morning and we're getting our day started together. And so that's what I like. I guess my question to you is, do you like a 6:30? Do you like a 6:15? Do you like a 6:45? Like, if you had your perfect time in sort of that time zone, tell me in the comments, what would be your time that you would prefer? Actually, I'm not even going to put any parameters on it. You just tell me. If you could choose any time, I'm not saying that's the time. I'm just saying, if you could choose any time, what time would you choose for Energize Live in the morning? Just tell me in the comments, because I'm really interested. You like early mornings, you can be on live, so 6:15 or 6:30. That is 6:30. 6:45, 6:30, 6:30, 6:30, 6:30, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is too late. Rhonda, you're going to have to get up. Sorry. 5:45 a.m. Central is 6:45 Eastern. 6:15, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Rachel. 6 a.m. Girl, that is 3 a.m. for our Pacific time people. Not that they're getting up at 3:30 a.m., but 6 a.m. is also 5 a.m. for people in Central. You know, so it's we are working with a lot of time zones. We are also working with international time zones. You know, we have people that join us for Energize Live, like from London, from the United Kingdom. Sometimes we get them from, I think there was someone in Scotland. I think I've seen someone from Denmark. I mean, how freaking cool is that? How freaking cool is that? I'm seeing a lot of 6:30s. A lot of 6:30s. And if you are watching this on the replay afterwards, love your input. Just you go ahead and put that in there and tag me so I see it. I love your input. It's hard to find the most perfect. Honestly, probably the most perfect time would be 9 a.m. Eastern, because that would be 6 a.m. Pacific, right? And the early birds in Pacific time zone could join live. 9 a.m. could join live. That's probably the most perfect time, but that's not the time that works for me in my house. So it's got to be, I just think it's got to be early so that we have a little bit better guarantee that we'll have the house to ourselves and we can have whatever conversation that we want. Cheers to a Wednesday morning. I think, you're very nice, Megan. I think 6:30 is kind of what I'm seeing, that 6:30 seems to be the common time. I like 6:30 a lot. And you just moved back from Japan. That's amazing. I like 6:30 because when I get up at 5, it gives me time I could do my compass planner before. I like to I call it opening up the house. I don't know if any of you do this, but I want to get my diffuser going. I want to light my candles. I'd like to do my compass planner. I have to feed Lady, because we all know if we don't feed Lady right away, she will perish from malnutrition. So I have to feed Lady right away. Just like things that you're doing in the house. And then I like to make my daily dose of real talk before I do this. And sometimes if Instagram's being weird, sometimes it makes me be a little bit late. Like today, y'all, today I had 14 app updates. Like, what's happening? 14 app updates. Yesterday there was an Instagram app update, which always takes a while. I have 14 app updates. I just like 6:30 because when I get up at 5, it gives me time to get myself ready to do some of my morning routine, to open up the house, to make the house smell decent, and then okay, here we go. Yes, Kara, I agree. And we used to do, believe it or not, 6:15. What? We used to do 6:15. And we just kind of got off schedule, I think, in the move and then in the summer. And now that my husband's home, that makes it different. So I like 6:30 too. Can we agree on 6:30? Your stories didn't post it all yesterday. Did you do the update, Megan? I know that there was an update yesterday, and I had 14 app updates today. I really pay attention to when Instagram feels glitchy or weird. I am like, okay, there must be an update. There must be an update. There must be an update. So do that if you haven't done that. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so 6:30 feels like the time. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time feels like the time that we're all agreeing on. And we can get back to some sort of regular schedule on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in my team page doing Energize Live. Mondays and Wednesdays, we're here during Energize Live. And then most of the time, on Fridays, I do Energize Live just for subscribers, just for Inner Circle, which, by the way, that is always open. So if you have not joined the Inner Circle, what did we talk? Last week, they got a sneak peek of my podcast that actually airs today. I was thinking about doing a gift list. You know, you always see the graphics and the links and everyone puts on their Instagram. And I just decided to do it as a podcast. And so today, my podcast that drops is all my favorite things. Not all, but you know, a list of my favorite things. And last week, the Inner Circle got that ahead of time, and they got all the links to it ahead of time. So you can subscribe at any point in time. And Fridays, I try to reserve for my subscriber Inner Circle, all of that. And then we also have a private message on WhatsApp. We chose WhatsApp. We had a lot of discussion over what we were going to use. And we chose WhatsApp because it was off social media. And I have no ability to direct message all my subscribers in a direct message on Instagram. Listen, why? I don't know. Why would they not give me that capability? But I cannot. You have to message people in batches. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, no, I want us to have a community off Instagram. So we have a message thread in WhatsApp. So they get private video and stuff on Instagram, but then we have a message thread that goes all the time in WhatsApp. So if you've not subscribed and that sounds like something that would be interesting to you and you want more connection, then you can do that any point in time on my Instagram profile. Okay, I just did a daily dose of real talk, and I wanted to share this with you because this really hit me. And you know, in the daily dose, I have like a minute or less to really explain it. On Energize Live, sometimes we dig into it a little bit more. So I listen to Growth Day every morning with Brendon Burchard. And it's an app that Brendon Burchard, speaker/author, created. It's an app. It's really a personal growth app, right? And I listen to it every morning, and he has what he calls Daily Fire. You think sometimes I go long on Energize Live. His daily fires, so sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is going to be short. No, it's never short. They're like 15 minutes. But I listen to them when I'm getting ready in the morning. They're amazing. And today's topic was about commitment. And I loved it a lot because to me, it kind of resonated along with the word promise. And he said this, are you ready? Get ready. He said, commitment is character. Take that in for a minute. Commitment is character. And you know what I say all the time, that keeping your promise to yourself, that's the most important promise that you can keep. Commitment is character. And that really resonated with me because, listen, how many people do you know will tell you, I'm going to reach this goal. I'm going to hit this milestone. I'm going to do it. Watch me now. Do you know how many coaches I've had say in my lifetime, watch me now, I'm going. And then they do nothing? I think that is a statement on your character a little bit, because that is a lack of commitment. You are not keeping a promise to yourself. It's a hot take, I know. It's a hot take. You're not keeping a promise to yourself. You're not keeping a promise to the people that you're making that promise to. You've said you want to do the thing, but then you don't follow through. How many people do you know in your life right now who say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and they've been saying that same goal, that same dream for I don't know how many years, right? And this is a very different, don't get this twisted, this is very different than having a big dream and actively working towards it, and it takes you 5 or 10 years to make it happen, right? Very different, and you're grown up and you know the difference. But you right now, can you, raise your hand in the comments, can you think of someone right now in your life who's consistently, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and this, and there's no follow through, there's no commitment to that. They don't actually keep that promise. Can you think of someone in your life right now? You don't have to tell me who they are. Just yes or no in the comments. Oh, funny Funny how that is. What is happening out there? Funny how it might be actually our own selves. Interesting. Huh. We're just going to resonate on that for a minute. Okay, so here's my follow-up to this. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Here's the follow-up to this. Do you understand that when you don't keep your commitments, when you don't keep your promises, that people lose trust in you? Do you understand that when we're having these conversations, I'm also including myself in these conversations? Okay, this is never a me at you. This is a me with you. If you are newer to the Energized Life community, first of all, welcome. Secondly, I need you to understand that this is never me at you. This is me with you. Sometimes I'm yelling at you. Mostly me with you. Me with you. So we understand this. Or it's me at you because I've walked through that journey and I'm on the other side of it and I'm telling you to get your head out of your ass and get to work. Okay, but here's the thing. When you don't keep your promise to yourself, when you don't keep your commitments, not only, I do agree with him, not only is that a statement on your character, do you know why? Because commitment takes no talent, but it takes character and integrity. Commitment takes no talent, but it takes character and integrity. So you're not more talented if you keep your commitments. You just have more character and integrity. You have more follow through, right? When you don't keep your promises, when you make these promises or you don't keep your promises to yourself, do you understand that people lose trust in you? And I'm going to keep this example. I'm going to use this example because it's just an example from my own life that I hear all the time. All the time. I hear coaches, because I partner with Team Body and we call, my teammates, our partners, our coaches, and we call our coaches. They're building a business and they will say to me, oh, my spouse doesn't support my business. My spouse doesn't support my business. And if you dig into their behaviors, you know what they're doing? They're scrolling on their phone. They're dorking around with their time. They're not inviting, following up, or doing any of the vital behaviors. So they're not making any money. So they're not actually staying committed to what they said they were going to do, because probably they told their spouse, I'm going to build this business. I'm going to build this business. And then they're dorking around on their phone and they're not actually doing anything. And then they wonder why their spouse doesn't trust what they say or doesn't believe them when they say they're going to do the next thing, because they didn't stay on track with what they said before. They're not committed. That's character. That's integrity. And if that like pings you a little bit, I'm okay with that, because we got to be pinged. Sometimes we got to be like gut punched a little bit sometimes to make a change. I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with it because I have been gut punched plenty of times in my life. Plenty. And I know sometimes it's just sometimes that's the thing that you need. If you are saying you're going to do something, whatever it might be, I am going to level up my health and wellness journey. I'm going to dial in my nutrition. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to stop hitting snooze. I'm going to build a business. I'm going to have more one-on-one time with my child. We're going to have a date night. I am going to create a budget and stick to. I don't care what it is that you say. If you say those things and then you don't follow through on that commitment, you don't keep that promise, people lose trust in you. Now, that's not to say there's not grace. Stuff happens in life, right? Stuff happens in life. No one's expecting perfection. And the people that are expecting perfection from you, why would you listen to them? Because they're not perfect. So why would you listen to someone who's expecting perfection from you when they're not perfect themselves? If you aren't following through with that commitment, with that promise to yourself, people are losing trust in you. To me, I will do just about anything to have people not lose trust in me. To think that someone doesn't trust me to follow through on my word, because at the end of the day, what do you have? You have your word. You have your character. You have your integrity. You have the trust of people that believe you will do what you say you're going to do. And if you don't do it, that's a lack of character. That's a lack of character. And the thing is, again, character takes no talent. It takes no talent to follow through on what you said you were going to do. I have coaches on my team, literally. And again, I just use the coaching example because it's my story. It's the story that I live. I have coaches on my team. And my husband, when he was coaching football, would have players on his team be like, this is my year. I'm doing all the things. And then the year goes by and they are in exactly the same place that they were when they started the year. What happens when that happens over and over and over again? Literally, when they say, this is my year, it literally goes in one ear and out the other. Because do you know what demonstrates to people that you're serious about doing the thing? It's crazy. Doing the thing. Keeping your promise. Keeping your promise. Living up to your commitment. Living up to your commitment. So that's what I want to share with you this morning. I think it's such a great concept and so simple. It's a gut punch. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to think about it. And you're going to start to realize that there are places in your life where you're not keeping your promise to yourself or to others, where you're not keeping your commitment. You're going to start to realize that there are places in your life where you're not following through on your commitment, where you're just doing the whole huff and puff thing, I'm going to do all the things, and then you're not doing it. There are places in your life where that's happening, okay? Because we're all human, so we all have it. And what will happen is some of us will start to put up walls and resistance. Well, you don't understand. My life's been so hard. It's been so hard. And this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this is why, and this is why. And there's going to be walls and resistance and all the things. And all that is fear and ego holding you back from the life that you want to live and create. All it is. So you get to decide if you're going to work through that, and you're actually going to show up, because it takes no talent to show up and keep your commitments to yourself and to others, and to keep your promises to yourself and to others. Because when you do that, do you know what also happens? You start to trust yourself. The reason why so many new coaches in my business will lose belief or step away, it's because they don't even trust themselves. Why don't they trust themselves? Because they're not showing up and doing the freaking work, which takes no talent. So they don't even trust themselves. And if they would just do the thing that they said they wanted to do, not only would they build trust with other people, they would trust themselves to do that. There's nothing better than going to bed at night knowing, putting your head on the pillow, knowing that you kept your word, that you followed through on your commitments, that you kept your promise to yourself, whatever it is. There's nothing better than that feeling, than keeping your promise to yourself and following through on your commitments. And I want you to get really intentional about the words you're speaking to the universe and what you're saying, because I can tell you that people are really over this whole, I'm going to do all the things, and then not. People are over that. And if you're wondering why people don't trust you, if you're wondering why people, my husband always said, players need to be concerned when coaches stop coaching them. If a coach is on you, messaging you, checking in with you. You know, he always use the example with his players. If I, man, when I'm up in somebody's business, when I am on them and they're like, oh, you're so hard on me. And it's because of the potential that they see in them, and because they know that this kid needs to keep their promise. And I feel like the same with in my business with coaching. You know, if I'm like, girl, where are you? You said you wanted to do the thing. But after so many times of that coach not keeping their promise, I stop checking in. I stop because I don't trust them anymore. So they might tell me they're going to do the thing, but I've lost trust in them. So I just, let me move on to the next coach who is doing the thing. Let me move on to the next person who's actually keeping their commitments and keeping their promises. If you are in this coaching business and you're wondering why your coach isn't like checking in or whatever, point your fingers right back at you and look at yourself, and are you keeping the promises that you said you wanted to do or be or achieve in this business? And if you're not, you don't need to wonder why your coach isn't checking in on you. They've probably lost trust in you, and they're just, well, let me move on to the person who is actually doing the work. And if you would show up and keep your promises and follow through, they'll probably be right back in it. Oh, Lori, that's why I tell my dance students, if I ignore you, I've given up on you. It's not that you've given up on them and their potential and their possibility. You've lost trust in them. I would challenge you, Lori, to tweak that a little bit. You've lost trust in them. It's heavy to be on the other side of it. Yeah, and we all are at different points in time, right? Where people lose trust in us because we're not following through on what we said we wanted to do or who we wanted to be. Well, the beautiful thing is we can make a change anytime. Maybe today's the day that you make a change. Maybe today's the day where you start keeping your promise. Maybe today's the day where you start rebuilding trust. Could be with your spouse, who you said, I'm going to build this business, and then you don't. Maybe today's the day where you start keeping your promise to yourself that you're going to level up your health and wellness practice. Maybe today's the day you start keeping your promise to your children, like you're going to spend some one-on-one time with them. Maybe today is the day. Right? And it could also be the day that when you have lost some trust in people, number one, you give them some grace because we're all human, right? And you would want someone to give you grace. And number two, if over and over and over again you've given them multiple chances and they're still not keeping their promises to them, to you and to themselves, maybe it's time that we shed. Right? Not everyone's meant to be in your life forever. Some people are just meant to be there for a little bit. Maybe it's time we shed. So maybe there's some shedding that happens today. Maybe there's some grace given today. Maybe there's some changes that happen today. Because the question is, are you keeping your promises to yourself? Build confidence with Leah. Well, you know what, Leah, that's a great question. Come back. We'll address that on another Energize Live because I think we're out of time now. And here's what I know about that. Leah, come back. We'll talk about that another time. Maybe that'll be the topic. But here's what I know. Leah, the time's going to pass anyway. Time's going to pass anyway. Are you going to show up as someone who keeps their commitments and their promises? Or are you going to show up as someone that says, this didn't happen overnight, so I'm out? Because the people that I want to be around are the people that make a commitment and a promise and who show up with consistency. To me, that's character and integrity. You show up when it's inconvenient. You show up with belief and passion and energy and excitement and enthusiasm because you are creating the life that you want to create on purpose with purpose, and the time's going to pass anyway. So I might as well keep showing up and keeping the commitment and keeping the promise to myself. Because the worst thing that can happen is my life gets better. Okay, so I might as well keep showing up because the time's going to pass anyway. Okay, so let's go be about our day, shall we? Let's get our workouts on. Let's do our thing. And just keep asking yourself that question. Am I keeping my commitments? Am I keeping my promises? Commitment is character. Am I keeping my promises today? And if I'm not, how can I change that? Because what you're not changing, you're choosing. If you want people to trust you, start showing up and keeping your word. It kind of is that simple. And that takes no talent, right? That takes no talent. Okay, cheers to a Wednesday. Go get your workouts on, go do your things, go have an awesome Wednesday. Today is like, y'all, today's like episode 268 or 269 or something like that. My goal is to have 365 Energize Lives so that you can literally watch the Energize Live every day for a year. That's the goal. So I hope you'll stick with me till we hit that goal. And we'll keep talking, we'll keep exploring, we'll keep having conversation. You keep showing up, I'll keep showing up. We'll do this together. We'll continue building this community. Thank you so much for being here. Have an awesome Wednesday.